Of all the things that we've done, one of the things I'm most proud of is what we've been able to do with education, because I see that issue not just through the lens of a governor, but also through the lens of a dad, of a 6, a 5, and a 3-year-old. And we believe the purpose of our schools is not ideological indoctrination. Indeed, that's not an appropriate use ever of schools to be able to do. We believe that parents have a fundamental right to direct the education and upbringing of their children. The school systems are important, but they're there to support the community. They're not there to supersede the rights of parents and what they think is appropriate. And so we've enacted protections for parents, such as curriculum transparency, so that they have a right to know what books are being used and what curriculum is being taught to their kids. And unfortunately, there's bad stuff that's getting into the schools. There's pornography that's getting into the schools. So the parents have had to blow the whistle in Florida. They've had to, yeah, well, thank you. Yeah. We're not going to let you impose an agenda on our kids. We're going to stand up for our kids. We're going to make sure to do it right. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. Those people like that in Florida are the people we beat every single day on policy. We do not let them win. We win all these battles. We're not letting them indoctrinate our kids, not on our watch. And so the parents have found this stuff, and so then they'll go and they'll blow the whistle, and the media will say, oh, that's a book ban. If you remove inappropriate material from a library, somehow it's a book ban, which is just not true, because in whatever's in a kid's classroom, you make decisions. You have one book about George Washington. There's 100 others you could have. You're not banning the other 100 just because they're not in that library. So you have to make decisions about what's appropriate. It's not appropriate to have this pornographic material in there. And so we actually did a press conference to highlight this, and we called it Exposing the Book Ban Hoax, because it is a hoax. But before I said anything, before the parents came up, we just played the video that had the images that the parents were objecting to. The local news stations had to cut their broadcast because they said it was too graphic to air. Well, if it's too graphic for the 6 o'clock news, how is it okay for a 10-year-old school child? We have eliminated critical race theory in our K through 12 schools, not teaching kids to hate this country or to hate each other with your tax dollars. We're supporting civics education, teaching kids about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, teaching them about what it means to be an American, because all of them, no matter what they do in their life, are all going to be citizens of our republic, and we need to give them a proper foundation of why America is what it is and what are our founding principles. And so we're doing that in Florida, and we're proud of it. We've also drawn a line to say it's inappropriate for a teacher to tell a second grader that they may have been born in the wrong body or that their gender is a choice. No gender ideology in the schools. And when we did that, the parents in Florida were thrilled because, you know, they just want the basics. They don't want the schools off kilter with all this. And so the parents liked it. Now, the left did not like it. The media did not like it. And we had a little company in Central Florida you may have heard of that also didn't like it, you know, named Disney. But, you know, Disney's view is that it's appropriate to be teaching a kindergartner that somehow they can change their gender. That's totally unacceptable to be going on in schools. And so, you know, and unfortunately, there have been videos that have come out about Disney where some of their executives are talking about, you know, it's their agenda to put sexuality in the young kids' programming, which as a parent, I don't think is appropriate and I don't think is right. So they've gone in that direction, and they were opposing us on parents' rights. A lot of people in Florida say, hey, man, they're the 800-pound gorilla. They get everything that they want. There's no way you're going to be able to get this done if Disney is opposing you. You're going to have to back down. Well, here I stand. We haven't backed down 1 inch. We do what's right. And, even some of these Republicans now are taking Disney's side, saying that somehow I was wrong, to do what we did. But let me just say very clearly, we stand for the protection of our children. We will fight anybody seeking to rob them of their innocence. And on those principles, there will be no compromise. It's also wrong to have a swimmer competing on the men's team for 3 years and then switch to the women's team and then be declared the women's national champion. That is not acceptable for the opportunities for our girls and our women athletes. Like, I have 2 daughters. My wife and I are sensitive. We want our girls, if they so choose, to compete with fairness and integrity. We're actually supported in our campaign by a very brave young swimmer named Riley Gaines. Have you heard of Riley? And so in Florida, we protect women's sports. Part of it is to make sure the girls have the opportunity, but part of it is just, we have to be more to the truth in this country. And when you go 3 years on the men's team, switch to the women's, and they say you're the women's champion, we know that's not true. And we've got to be clear about that. And it's sad that we even had to do this in Florida, and I think you guys have done it here. Other states have had to do it, but it's wrong to have a physician performing sex change operations on minors. And yet you see that happening. So in Florida, it's very clear. We think that that is mutilation. We think that that is wrong. And if you do that as a physician, you're not only losing your medical license, you're going to jail as a result.